Contracts are the vehicle with which you engage with your vendor. The role you're going to have to approve contracts as a board member. There are some cost saving opportunities that we do want to mention, and then we'll just briefly review the budget and strategic plan before approving. Boy, I can't even speak today, I tell you. Next. So what is a contract? A contract is an agreement between two parties. They agree to provide and one agrees to receive. And this is something that is a major part of your responsibility because that's how life is that we have to award contracts to be able to get goods and services. So anyway, as a board member, it's important you understand the role that you have. And so we're going to talk about a few different steps with regards to the contract process. Before approving a contract, you need to consider several factors. Okay, there again, we're going to reiterate, does it align with your strategic plan? Are the goods and services necessary? Do you need to have them? Or is this something that maybe is obsolete or outdated, or your board has decided to go in a different direction, and so therefore something new needs to be done? So these are some questions that you need to, do you have a budget for it? Not everybody has the budget to do some of the things that they would like to do. So make sure that the dollars are there to be able to do that. And then of course, it's always important to make sure that the contracts are compliant with the law. You don't want to go outside of the law to get what you need. Step 2, once you have determined the contract meets the criteria, then you're going to review the contract, okay? You're going to see if there's anything that you have questions about. You're going to ask questions. This is an opportunity for you to do that. It should be an agenda item. And all the backup materials affiliated or associated with that award should be provided to you by the superintendent. That would be in your board docs or your document system. And then step 3, it's okay to pull the agenda, as we mentioned, from consent to action, especially when money is involved. You need to make sure that there is adequate and sufficient discussion with regards to all of the contracts that you are going to be approving or denying. Next. This is an interesting element of contracting. A lot of times contractors go on automatic. For example, you have a contract for air conditioning services, heating and air conditioning services. And so you do a competition in the beginning and you award it for, maybe 1 year, and then you have 2 additional years that you can award, given that, provided that the money comes through for you to award continue the contract and stuff. And so there again, you're just kind of in repetitive mode, just thinking, okay, well, it's the AC and heating and air conditioning contract. So we're just going to approve it because we need to have it, blah, blah, blah. Well, you need to stop and think about what you are really trying to accomplish here. When it comes to heating and air conditioning, technology has changed that world quite a bit. And so are there some efficiencies that we could take advantage of? So for one thing, with regards to recurring contracts, you make sure you want to be transparent and accountable. There again, you may have seen the contract in your first year, but in year 3, do you really need the same contract? So just make sure that there's some transparency and accountability with regards to that. What about compliance and risk? Okay. Yes, they must comply. Is there a risk with regards to awarding this contract now versus previously? So make sure you understand those elements of it. What are the long-term impacts? Okay. With regards to, you might want to renegotiate. Like I said, just because you have a contract and it is a recurring service or product, goods or services, you typically it's in your best interest to make sure that you are reviewing it on a fairly regular basis, maybe, a 3-year cycle, a 5-year cycle, or something along that nature, determining, what it is you're actually doing, because there are opportunities for improvement. And sometimes you even may want to terminate a contract because the district no longer needs it. It's not in the district's best interest, or maybe the service is no longer needed, or maybe because of, advancements in technology, you just are going in a different direction, just as I mentioned earlier. And then, of course, you should always be looking for cost savings. You and I all know that the cost of fuel has gone up in the last few years. So this is one of the areas where school districts get into a little bit of a bind with regards to their budget, because they all need gas for their buses. And when the price of fuel increases, then that makes the cost of transportation increase as well. So these are some things that you need to be mindful of with regards to, fuel, trash services, lawn services, and as you can see, there's other things here as well that you might be able to negotiate a little bit better price with regards to it. For example, another example would be if you have, 10 elementary schools, and you extended the parking lot in one of them, so your lawn maintenance service may have to be decreased. That just simple examples, but you get the point. Next slide, please. Oh, here's Laura's favorite: chicken wings to tires. Okay. Identifying cost savings opportunities. She put a couple of different things on here with regards to who would have ever thought that, chicken wings would be an area where there would be fraud. But food services can be ripe with fraud. And so be mindful of the food services, the contracts you have with regards to, these national or regional providers and stuff, because maybe, they're ordering 10 bags of chicken wings when they really only need 8 bags of chicken wings. And so somebody's going home with chicken wings. So pay attention to things like that. As the example earlier was shared with regards to the Indian River County, the assistant chief was buying extra tires. They weren't even relevant for the vehicle fleet that they even had. So pay attention to some of these things as well. Okay. And there again, lately there have been spikes with regards to product, most definitely. And so how much, what is the gap there? Are we being realistic? Are we competing? Remember that, that whatever it is you're purchasing, whatever it is you're procuring, you need to be mindful that we're in the here and now, and that there are opportunities to cost save, there are opportunities to terminate, there are opportunities to regenerate. Okay. Next. So where do we start? Here are some things with regards to savings opportunities. There again, renegotiate. Just because you've had a contract for 2, 3, 4, 5 years doesn't mean that you shouldn't renegotiate. You shouldn't go out for competition. You shouldn't evaluate. We all get complacent, and vendors are no different than the rest of us. Vendors tend to get complacent. They expect that they're going to get the next contract award. But vendor evaluations are very important, because that's where you can keep them on their toes and make sure that they are providing all the services that are laid out in the contract. Review service levels. As we mentioned, maybe some of your lawn maintenance has gone away. Maybe it's expanded. Maybe, you have decreased your bus fleet, or maybe you need to expand it. So there again, review what service levels you need with regards to maintenance. All school districts, to my knowledge, have a fleet. It involves buses, cars, trucks, and maybe some additional equipment and stuff. So, if you don't use in-house employees for that, then are you contracting that out? What kind of service level are you looking at? Do you really need the service level that the contractor wants to give you, or are you setting that stage or that expectation with regards to levels? And then energy efficiency. I think we probably all have had an opportunity to consider what light bulbs we use, what HVAC system we use. Are we using, oil? Or are we using gas? Are we using electric? So these things all have an impact with regards to where can we have cost savings opportunities.